Hello friends, in this video we will see what is the ratio. Okay, so the ratio is all about the comparison between two quantities. Comparison between two quantities. Comparison between two quantities in terms of magnitude. In terms of magnitude, ratio is all about comparison between two quantities in terms of magnitude. For example, Amit has 5 apples. Amit has 5 apples, and Ameya has 3 apples. Then the ratio of the apples Amit have to the Ameya is 5:3. So 5:3. So this is called as a ratio symbol. 5:3. If Amit is having, okay, so if Amit is having 5 apples and Ameya is having 3 apples, then 5:3 is called as the ratio between the apples Amit have to the Ameya apple. Okay, so in general, the ratio of any two quantities is expressed as A by B or A colon B, where A and B are the quantities. Okay, so in this, A is called as antecedent and B is called as consequent. B is called as consequent. So the ratio is all about comparison between two quantities in terms of their magnitude. So the ratio of any two quantities is expressed as A by B or A colon B, where A is called as antecedent and B is called as consequent. For example, if Amit has 5 apples and Ameya has 3 apples, then the ratio of the apples between Amit and Ameya can be written as 5:3. So I hope you got this one. In the next video I will explain the properties of ratios. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hello friends, in this video I will explain the properties of ratios. Let us assume we have a ratio A by B or A colon B. So the first property is the value of the ratio does not change when the numerator and denominator both are multiplied by same quantity. Suppose we have the ratio A by B. So if you multiply numerator and denominator by the same number, so the ratio is not going to be changed. For example, you are multiplying both the numerator and denominator by m, am and bm. So the value of the ratio is not going to be changed. So here I am multiplying with L, numerator and denominator. So here I am multiplying the numerator and denominator by K. So the value of the ratio is never going to be changed if you multiply numerator and denominator by the same value. Let's take another. So we have A by B as a ratio. If we divide numerator and denominator with the same number or same quantity, so the value of the ratio is not going to be changed. For example, A by M by B by M. So this is also equivalent to the ratio A by B. So this is A by L by B by L equivalent to A by K by B by K. So if the numerator and denominator are divided by the same number or same quantity, then the ratio is not going to be changed. Okay. The next one is the ratios of two fractions can be expressed in ratio of integers. For example, we have two ratios, that is A by B and B by C, or some C by D. So this one can be expressed like X by Y. So the ratio of two fractions, these are the first fraction or second fraction, or the ratio of two ratios can be expressed in ratio of integer. Otherwise, the ratio of two fractions, okay, this is one fraction and this is one fraction, can be expressed in terms of the ratios of the integers where x comma y. Let's take one example. For example, we have 3 by 4 by 5 by 4. So this one can be expressed like 3 by 4 into 4 by 5 equivalent to 3 by 5. Okay, 4 cancel. So here we have one fraction, here we have another fraction. So this the ratio of the two fractions expressed in terms of the ratio of the two integers. Okay. Next one, if A by B is the ratio, then if A or B is a ratio, then A square by B square is called as duplicate, and A cube by B cube is called as triplicate, and A to the power of 1 by 2 by B to the power of 1 by 2 is called as subduplicate. And A to the power of 1 by 3 by B to the power of 1 by 3 is called as subtriplicate. Okay, so the first one is if you multiply the numerator and denominator of the ratio, the value is not going to be changed. And the second one is if you divide the numerator and denominator by the same number, so the ratio is not going to be changed. So the ratio of the two fractions can be expressed in terms of ratio of two integers. And third one is, the next one is if A by B is the ratio, then A square by B square is called as a duplicate. A cube by B cube is called as a triplicate. A to the power of 1 by 2 by B to the power of 1 by 2 is called as a subduplicate. And A cube, A to the power of 1 by 3 by B to the power of 1 by 3 is called as a subtriplicate. So these are all the properties of ratios. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hello friends, in this video we will see what is proportion. A proportion is an equality of two ratios. For example, we have A ratio B and C ratio D, and both of them are equal. So in that case we write A colon B equivalent to C colon D, or A by B is equal C by D. So this is called as a proportion. So an equality of two ratios is called as a proportion, and we say that the four numbers are in proportion. We say that the four numbers A, B and C, D are in proportion. So what is proportion? Proportion is an equality of two ratios. Okay. For example, if you have two ratios, A ratio B and C ratio D, and the equality of these ratios are A by B is equal to C by D. So this one is called as a proportion. Okay, so the proportion can be represented as A ratio B double colon, okay, double colon, and then C ratio D. So this one will represent the proportion of four numbers, that is A, B, C and D. So to represent the proportion we use double colons. Okay, so double colons. Here A and D are called as extremes. Extremes. And B and C are called as means. B and C are called as means. So A and D are called as extremes and B and C are called as the means. Okay, if A colon B proportion C colon D, so then A into D is equal to B into C. That means the multiplication of extremes equivalent to multiplication of means. Okay, so if A, B, C, D are four numbers are in the proportion, then the multiplication of extremes is always going to be equal to the multiplication of means. So this is what all about proportion. So in the next video we will see the example problems on the proportion. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hello friends, in the previous video I told you the definition of proportion and how to represent it. So in this video we will see some facts about the proposition. As I told earlier, proposition is an equivalent of two ratios. So let us assume we have a proportion of four numbers A, B and C and D. So A by B is equal to C by D. So this is the proportion. Okay, so A by B is equal to C by D. So this is the equivalence of two ratios. So then the same can also be written as B by A equivalent to B by C. The same can also be written as B by A is equal C by D by C. So this is called as invertendo. So this is called as a invertendo. So if we have A by B is equal to C by D proportion, then the same can also be written as A by C equivalent to B by D. So this is called as alternando. Okay, alternando. This is called as alternando. If we have a proportion like A by B is equal to C by D, the same can also be represented as A by B equivalent to C plus D by D. So this is called as componendo. This is called as componendo. Okay, so if we have a proportion like A by B is equal to C by D, that same can also be written as A minus B by B equivalent to C minus D by D. So this is called as dividendo. And this same proportion can also be written as A plus B by A minus B equivalent to C plus D by C minus D. So this is called as componendo and dividendo. So these are some of the facts of proportion. Okay, so whenever we have a proportion, we can use all these alternatives to this proportion. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel.